What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. All right, in today's video, we're going to be going over what I have come up with as a pure free-to-play Lotro point farming route using the Bjorning that I've come up with after about, I don't know, 2 or 3 days worth of testing. If anyone's tuned into my streams recently, you may have seen me kind of speed running this. I've been timing it to see exactly how long it takes, and I've been able to get this farm down to about where you're getting 1 Lord of the Rings point per minute. This route is using exclusively only what you can get with free-to-play stuff, so right what you get from the very beginning, and the class we're going to be using is the Bjorning. The reason is because it's a very fast intro. You get a full set of gear that can carry you all the way through this about hour and 5-minute farm. You don't need anything else except what the game gives you strictly as a free-to-play player just hopping into the game. This route's really easy to execute. It doesn't take a lot of thought. All you're doing is killing a bunch of monsters, and killing a bunch of monsters is always really fun. What this does, this allows you to be able to farm some Lotro points on the side while you're playing a main. Now, granted, I'm on the free-to-play account. I've only got 2 character slots, so I have my main, but then I do this probably once or twice a day to slowly start accumulating some Lotro points. The reason I haven't spent any of them, and some keen-eyed viewers out there have made some comments on my review video, like, dude, why aren't you using Lotro points? Well, the reason is because I'm trying to farm up enough of them to be able to unlock the expansions in chronological order so I can experience those on the appropriate level scale with my main. So if you're a free-to-play player looking to farm some Lotro points to maybe get some bags, get a mount, or maybe unlock some content through the Lotro store, then watch this video. This is going to help a tremendous amount for those new players out there. If you guys like this video and things like it, remember to subscribe below. Only takes a few seconds. Hit the like button and the bell button while you're down there. If you found this helpful, that's awesome. This is exactly why I'm making this video, hopefully to help some newer players out there. We go live every day on twitch.tv/Drydeck_TV at 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. Without further ado, let's jump into this video, guys. So before we actually get into the video and go over the route and everything we're going to be using, I need to put a disclaimer here just for anyone who's watching this video. This is not intended to be something you do on your absolute very first character. The reason being is because we're going to be going over the setup here in the first part of the video to make sure we set ourselves up for success. But this requires a few things. So what I would suggest doing is play the character that you want to play at the start, progress, maybe get to level 20, 30, 40, whatever, wherever you feel like, man, I really want some more bag spaces. I want to mount for my alt, maybe unlock some character slots or whatever you need. After you've played your main character for a little bit, then come back and start doing this farm. That's really my only thing I want you guys to consider before going further in this video, but let's go ahead and jump forward so we can actually get into the routing and what we're going to be doing for this farm. All right, everyone say hello to the fan. He's going to be joining us for today's video because it's like 1,000 degrees in my room, so I do apologize if you hear the sound in the background, but regardless. So what we're going to be doing is we're going to be using the Bjorning for this farm. Probably not very big surprise for any veterans out there, but the reason we're using the Bjorning, if you're not a veteran to the game and you're new and want to take part in this farm, is one, the Bjorning's starter zone is really, really fast. You can get through it in about 5 to 6 minutes. Not only that, you're also giving an entire full set of gear, and that's all the gear you're going to need to get through this farm route. You're also speed leveled all the way up to almost level 6, where you can start speccing into the tree we're going to be using. So all these things to combine, Bjorning is like the class to do if you want to do this on. So one more thing before actually jumping into the route, the spec we're going to be using for this particular farm is the red route tree. Now you can play on blue. I've tried both. The red is just a little bit faster, maybe like 2 to 3 minutes faster. But if you just like being in bear form, you can play the blue form as well, or you can play red form bear. In the end, it's only going to save you about maybe 2 or 3 minutes. I just prefer being in man form red tree because you have easier access to your heal and you get plenty of AoE with the biting edge that you unlock at level 10. So I suggest doing red tree, but you can pretty much play whatever you want. So a couple things we need to do before we get set up, okay? So I suggest not doing this as your very, very first character, like I said a little bit earlier. The reason being is because you're going to have to head up to Thorin's Hall homesteads and make your home teleport there. So you're going to have to buy a house and put a couple pieces of gold into it to keep the upkeep. But what we're going to be doing is we're going to be binding our home teleport to Thorin's Hall specifically for this farm. Once you've gone to the homestead, bought your house, and got your home teleport set up, then you're gonna make a new character and make a Bjorning. Can be whatever, you know, you can make it however you want to look, put whatever name, it doesn't really matter. This is just gonna be a kind of rinse and repeat farm, so don't get too attached to this character, okay? So what you're gonna do is you're gonna get into the starting zone, go through all the quests, you're gonna try to speed through all the little quest text as fast as you can. My personal suggestion is while you talk to Sturkis at the very start and he kind of walks over and there's like a 1.5 minute RP scene, go ahead and open up your bags, move your bags to wherever you like specifically so you can access your gear quicker, and set up anything else like maybe the quest text window or your character window in wherever you like on the screen. There's only like 4 parts to this quest, which is really, really good. You just talk to the dudes, go talk to a cow, go kill some flies, and then come back. It's really super simple, not really much explaining needing because it's only going to take you about 6-7 minutes even if you're not very efficient with it. So just get through the Bjorning thing, follow the quest, and you'll get done in around 5 to 8 minutes. Once you finish the Bjorning starting zone, you're going to be teleported outside the gates of Archet. Remember to talk to the first quest lady there to get your milestone skill. You're not going to be setting it quite yet, but remember to grab it. Do the quest line, you'll grab it, you'll get the skill. And then from here, what you're going to do is you're going to equip all the gear you can. You're just going to equip all the gear that you get from the very starting thing and start opening your presents, okay? The reason you want to do that is because in each present, they have like HP pots. They have, you know, movement outside of combat speed, attack damage, anything to kind of boost your performance you want to use as soon as you can because it's going to just accelerate the time and you're going to get this done quicker and quicker. So the first place you're going to start is just right outside of Archet. You're just going to go up and take a right out of the east gate and you're going to be killing spiders, okay? So there's 2 ways you can do this. One, you can just stay in that very first starting zone. There's not a whole lot of traffic there, but it's not exactly the quickest. So if you're going for extreme amounts of time saving, this is kind of the least efficient but least I guess tedious way of doing it because you can just stay in one zone and farm. You can just turn your brain off. The way that I suggest doing it is 1, clearing the first path, going into the Spriggly's cellar and going through all the way out towards the other end of it. The reason being is because you can kill the spiders along the way, go out of the Spriggly's cellar onto his actual farm and kill more spiders there. You're basically going to make this loop where you go from one end all the way through, all the way out, kill the spiders, and you're just going to repeat until you finish the first and second of the Spider Slayer in Bree. The next part you're going to be doing is you're going to be doing the Brigand Slayer in Bree as well. So what we're going to do is we're actually going to hop on our mount and run all the way over to Chetwood. There is like this fort thing full of brigands there. You can easily get like I think 30 to 40 in one rotation, but it does take a little bit of time to get there. So what you want to do, you want to mount up and head directly out of the back part of Spriggly's farm. You can just run over the river and just make a beeline straight to the fort, okay? So what you're going to do is you're going to stay here until level 10. Typically, you're going to be about level 9.5 when you finish the advanced slayer of this, but stay here till 10. The reason being is because at level 10, when you use your little, you know, present they give you in the game, that's when you get your Slayer Deed Accelerator that lasts for 30 minutes, and this is where the second half of this farm comes into play. All right, so this is the second part of the farm, and this is where the time crunch comes into play, because we're going to be using our 30-minute Deed Accelerator, and we're going to try to cram as much in there as we can to get the most out of it, okay? So once you hit level 10 with the Brigand Slayers in Bree, what you're going to do is you're going to teleport yourself to your house in Thorin's Hall, and then you're going to beeline it to the Gundamon town, the second area in Arid Luin. Once you get there, you're going to do 2 things. You're going to set your milestone to Gundamon, and you're going to head up the ramp and grab a bow from the Boyer vendor. The reason being is because you don't have a range attack yet, and being able to tag things from far away with a bow and have them come to you can save a couple seconds here and there in between your kills, and if time is a consideration, you want as much time advantage as you can get. Once you set your milestone to Gundamon, you're going to head straight down towards the Grey Havens. There's 2 things we're going to accomplish here. You're going to do your Goblin Slayer and your Spider Slayer here. My suggestion is to run past all the goblins, just follow the road straight down. You're going to get to like this blockade, and then off to the left, there's going to be this spidery area. I would suggest going there first. The reason being is sometimes it's a little bit contested, and you want to try to get that done first because there's not as many spawns of the spiders as there is like goblins and things, so you want to try to knock that out as soon as you can while you have the time. Once you finish your normal Spider Slayer and your advanced Spider Slayer, you're gonna head right back out, go right to the goblin camps you passed on your right as you're heading towards there, and just kill the goblins there. They're close enough to each other and they're densely packed enough to where, depending on how fast you kill, usually by the time you kill the goblin of the last camp, the goblins on the previous camp have already started to respawn, so you should be able to knock out the advanced and normal Goblin Slayer in like 4 or 5 minutes. Again, depending on how contested this area is. Once you finish there, what you're going to do is you're going to use your milestone and go back up to Gundamon, and then you're going to head out the top right of the town, and you're going to go to this very specific part where you're going to be killing the Hendravales in this area. This is kind of where the make or break of this run can be, and this is where the time efficiency comes into play. This is kind of a hotly contested area. There's a quest right around there, and a quest hub right above this area, so some people are going to be trying to kill these Hendravales for their quest. So you can get around 12 to 15 of these there and then head up to the next place. Even if you don't get that, you still might be able to get the Hendravales done in the next area we're going to be going. But what I'd suggest doing is trying to kill as many Hendravales there and around the area as you can. And then we're going to head up to the last area where we're going to be killing the Dour Hand Dwarfs for the Brigand Slayer. So once you're done on this cliff, you're literally going to go straight up into the Grim Water, which is like this little encampment thing on a cliff face. And you're going to be doing the Dour Hand dwarfs there for your Brigand Slayer. So there's enough here to get, you know, the advanced and normal there, and there is Cliff Hendravales within there. So if you're shy on the Cliff Hendravales, you can knock out 2 birds with 1 stone, pun intended, here as well. And depending on how fast you go, you may have 2 or 3, maybe 4 minutes left. Can take you anywhere from an hour to an hour and 5 minutes. Again, depending on how crowded each one of these areas are. And you might be wondering, well, why don't we do the Wolf Slayer? Because there's a couple places you can do the wolves. Reason being is because they don't spawn in big enough numbers around these areas, and there's not a swift travel you can take to get down to the area in the very bottom of the map where there's tons of wolves. But that place is always fairly contested. So what I've noticed, and for just pure efficiency standards, is if you just do this route and ignore the wolves, you can get more Lotro points per hour doing this, just ignoring them and repeating the farm as fast as you can and optimizing your time down more and more and more by just ignoring that part. Yes, you're going to miss out on 15 Lotro points, but in the long run, this will net you more per hour than waiting around and trying to kill these wolves, okay? So now that you may be comfortable doing this route and you've done it a couple times, let's talk about a couple things you can do to speed up or even more optimize this route. Now, my main is a armsman, so I've been able to make him daggers or axes that are really, really good early game, okay? So you can make level 7 weapons and level 10 weapons. My suggestion for the Bjornings is actually crafting yourself 2 sets of purple daggers, both level 10 and level 12. The reason being is because they hit the same as like an axe, and the 1% auto critical per weapon is actually more effective than the armor reduction that you might get from, say, axes. If you happen to have a main or a buddy who can make these for you, what you're going to want to do is you're going to try to get the purple versions of them because they're as strong, the strongest you can make in that tier. And if you happen to have a buddy that can maybe make you some gear, you can also add that to it. It's not out of the realm of possibility to get this down to maybe 50 minutes, depending on how powerful of gear you can get. But again, if you want to just do kind of turn your brain off and not have to worry about any of it, the farm will work just fine without it. But if you're really trying to squeeze out as much time and as many Lotro points per hour, you can set yourself up for success by building yourself an entire set of gear and mail it to yourself on your character to speed this farm up even more. Do I suggest it? Yeah, why not? If you have the access to the materials, you might as well make it, because in the end, the more time you can shave off, the more Lotro points per hour you're going to obtain, and the quicker you can get to, say, unlocking your content or your mount or your extra character slots, things like that. So if you've gotten to the point with this farm where you want to optimize it, look to get some really, really powerful weapons and maybe have a friend, or if you have another, character or another account, make yourself a full set of super juiced gear. And if you do that, you're going to absolutely smash this farm. So let's wrap this video up. Has this been helpful for anybody? Let me know down in the comments if I've got this wrong. Let me know if there's any glaring problems that I have with this route, and if there's any of those Lotro veterans out there that might have some tips to further increase this efficiency, please let me know. This is kind of the penultimate that I've been able to come up with in my time playing, but if anyone out there knows anything better, please let me know, and I'll make a follow-up video to this one, okay? And remember, if you liked this video or found it helpful, hit the like button, subscribe down below. We got lots of content coming for you guys in the future. We go live every day on twitch.tv/Dryduck_TV. I'll be doing this, playing my main, maybe optimizing this a little bit, and eventually unlocking some things from the Lotro store to increase my enjoyment of the game, which is already through the roof. And with that, this video is done. I will see you guys in the next video. Peace!